Hi, Chris. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Beautiful. Thank you for coming and thank you for honoring the invite. Like I said earlier, it means a whole lot. Thank you so much. Okay, Chris. Um, I am so excited to have you on the show for some reasons. Firstly, I believe that knowledge is the solution to a world's problem. And secondly, I believe that there are some things that Chris knows that some of my audience needs to hear you say this stuff directly from your mouth, in order to experience transformation. And thirdly, even I myself, I know, I'm so sure that I will learn one or two things from your story, your experiences, your insight. So for that reason, Chris, I want us to get started with your introduction, your journey, how it has been so far, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. And afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful cake, Chris. Over to you.
Yeah. So my background has been primarily in media and entertainment with a little bit of gaming. And so I've worked in film, music, games, even wrote a book, which we could call media and entertainment. And I started my career actually working at a movie theater. And while I was there, I was making popcorn and taking tickets and cleaning auditoriums. And I really enjoyed it. But then as I went out through the rest of my career, I started to get into technology and I started to see this really interesting balance between the technology side of businesses and then the business side of those companies. And what I saw that was missing was a way to communicate between them. So oftentimes you would have a business leader who would say, "Hey, we need some new technology," but they didn't really know what the technology was or how to implement it or what it was all about. And then you would have the technology people who would say, "Yeah, I understand the technology, but I have no idea how you're going to be using this for the business." And so I came in and started helping people bridge that gap, helping people understand the benefits of both sides and also helping them to communicate with each other so that they can begin growing their business, leveraging technology that we all use today. So it's been a great adventure for me. And over the last, say, 6, 7 years, I was working at Google and doing the exact same thing. I've been doing this for 30 years, helping businesses bridge the gap between technology and then even their customers, and then how customers like to use technology to engage with their favorite brands.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a great work you're doing, and I love it. I love it. Okay, so shall we get started with the questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want us to begin first with you defining to us what customer empathy mean.
So customer empathy is the recognition that your customers have feelings, your customers have needs, your customers have aspirations. And the empathy side is to shoes and understand what their problem is and how you can best solve that problem or facilitate your services. So if you think about it, a lot of times, and you may have this experience if you've ever called a company because you've had a problem and you're like, "Hey, I have a problem and I need some help." And they've handed you off to somebody and they don't really have the answers, or they give you the runaround, or they don't really want to help you. A lot of that is just, here's our processes and we're going to stick with our processes without really caring at all what the situation is that you're encountering. But let's put this into another perspective. Imagine if you were driving to the store, hopefully you don't, but you get into an accident. And because you're in an accident, you call up your car insurance, and your car insurance company doesn't care what's going on. We get annoyed. We're like, dude, I'm hurting, I'm struggling, I need your help. Yet if I was to say, oh my gosh, I'm really sorry. Oh, wow, that sounds awful, helping you. That's empathetic. That is putting yourself into their shoes as if, well, how would I feel if I was in an accident? I wouldn't want to be in an accident. So I know that feeling, and I'm going to do everything I can to help you. Empathy. When we are communicating with our customers will actually and will become more loyal because they feel as if you care about them.
Beautiful. That was well explained. I get it now. Okay, so what about customer transformation? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, customer transformation is a process, a strategy that I developed, and it's a 7-stage strategy, a framework for building customer alignment in your business. And those 7 stages go from customer empathy, which is actually the first stage, all the way to the last stage, the 7th stage, which is how do you jump through this process? Technology is number 6. So a lot of times people want to start with the technology. They come up with a business idea. They come up with, hey, try to figure out how their customers are going to use it, or they work backwards. And really what the customer first are, figure out how you're going to deliver that to them, figure out what you need to build in your company to support it. And then you can worry about the technology. The technology is one of the last things that you actually have to care about, because what we are seeing, and this is where the definition of customer transformation comes in, that as consumers, we are transforming first. And a business must be able to keep up with that transformation by developing the technologies. But you shouldn't be transforming first. The business shouldn't be transforming first. You are the customers and their increasing demands and their ever evolving aspirations, needs, or the empathy that they're.
Beautiful and great business. I feel like business owners all around the world needs to listen to you speak right now, because you're saying some beautiful stuff. Okay, we still have some questions here. So, what are APIs and why are APIs businesses? I don't know if I pronounced it well. Did you AP? You got it?
Yeah. So APIs, which stand for Application Programming Interface, APIs are a technology that we use to integrate systems together. And what's interesting is that 100% of all businesses today, we are using an API right now to record our podcast. I wouldn't be able to actually connect. We're on Riverside. I wouldn't be able to connect with you without the use of an API. So every time you record a podcast, you're using an API. APIs are the foundation for how we do businesses today. And what's interesting is a lot of people don't want to invest in APIs, or everybody knows about today. Artificial intelligence doesn't happen without an API behind it. So is more critical, the AI or the API, and the API, Application Programming Interface, is actually more critical because you could out it. These technologies and tools are extremely critical to businesses, and those businesses who invest in them, take advantage of them, will be able to deliver experiences to their consumers faster. And that's what this is all about. We talk about building customer empathy. We talk about customer transformation, recognizes that we as consumers want to engage with different businesses in certain ways, and we have to be able to adapt to those expectations. So imagine if you went into a grocery store today. Well, a lot of us don't have cash on us. But in order to take that debit card to check out for your groceries, that requires APIs. It doesn't require an AI to help you, right? And so having APIs in place for a business will actually help you build that system that you'll need to enhance the experience to meet your customer demands.
Beautiful. Chris, I think you're a good teacher. Amazing. Okay, so you mentioned artificial intelligence. So let us talk about that. Why has AI become so popular?
That's a good question, and probably one that I can't figure out either. I mean, so AI is not new. But if we look at things that have actually helped us, computers have gotten faster. We have access to more data. The internet has grown. And because of all of these factors, AI has now. So, say 10 years ago, the average person couldn't access AI. It was around, but you couldn't, say, access it on your phone. Well, now, because of the enhancements of technology and mobile technologies, 5G, the speed of the internet, all of these things have made it accessible so that you and I and everybody else can play with it. And I think one of the reasons that it has become as popular as it is simply due to you can actually use it now, as opposed to previously it was a lot harder to understand and use. With that being said, it's really interesting to watch all the people taking advantage of it now.
Wow, wow. It's just so shocking to realize that it's been around for over 50 years now. I never knew. I never knew at all. Okay, so let us still talk about how it is impacting. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, yeah, look, AI, just because it doesn't necessarily mean it's being helpful. There are a lot of AI and machine learning, so AI ML, if you've heard of that, that is very beneficial to us. It's doing research on things like cancer, trying to help us find the cure for cancer, trying to help us find cures for other diseases. It's helping in things like automation for factory workers. It's reducing risk in a lot of areas. Those are all very positive things that AI is providing us. But then there's this other side, which is called generative AI. And that is the chat GPT models. And now we're seeing it on search engines. And, you get images that are produced with generative AI. That is actually becoming more detrimental to our human society than anything else in the AI space. It's because we are becoming a little bit more lazier. Individuals are using source of truth. And so AI to write an article and then I just publish could have problems. It could have fallacies. It could have references that don't actually exist. They've been made up. It could lie to you. And I teach. So I'm a teacher, and I see a lot of my students who are actually generating papers using AI, and they're turning them in. And the unfortunate reality is those students aren't learning anything. They're just learning even if they're reading it, they're just cutting and pasting what AI has produced and submitting it. They're not reading it. They're not comprehending it. They're not learning from it. And so society are actually becoming, more dependent upon something as opposed to learning something on our own. The ability to access information, the critical thinking skills, all of those things are actually deteriorating because of generative AI. And then that's not even to go into businesses where businesses are at risk because they're using generative AI due to trademark. They are ruining their relationships with consumers who an AI can't impose customer empathy, right? And so if we go back to that basic human nature that we started with, people are trying to have the AI generate responses for their consumers when the consumer is clearly needing and wanting to talk to a human, generating mass problems for companies today.
That's good. Okay, yeah. So you mentioned that you're into video games and all that. So how have video games evolved? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, video games are one of my passions, and it's very interesting. Games have evolved over the last 20, 30, 40 years. So we go back to AI. AI has been around for 50 years as well. We've seen everything from, like Pac-Man, has AI in it, or chess, trying to beat the chess masters. And so the evolution of how even artificial intelligence has changed over the last 10, 15 years has also changed video gaming. And then also because of the technology, because of access, because of data, because of speed of the internet, we've gotten into more online worlds. We look at, popular games like Fortnite are rooted in multi-plum, where we used to go out and hang out and talk with friends. Now people are doing it in games. So gaming, interesting way of looking at society from a digital world. I particularly love it. But yeah, it has changed a lot in terms of how we communicate with people and what those games provide us in terms of either entertainment or social value.
Thank you for that response. Do you play COD, Call of Duty?
I don't play Call of Duty, no, but multiplayers I do.
Okay, okay. Okay, Chris, it has been an intro. So, to bring this to an end, Chris, what would you like to leave the audience with? Like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you do, how can that be possible?
Yeah. Find things that you are passionate about and go and tackle them. That's the most critical thing. And if you want to reach out to me or you want to have additional conversations, you can chrishood.com, CHRISHOOD.com. And on there, you can find my social media profiles. You can reach out.
Beautiful. That's good. And thank you for, impacting us with this amazing insight. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely. Appreciate it so much.